So as we all know, the topic for today, closing deals at the end of the month and how we actually handle pipeline pressure tactics. Okay. What we will be walking away with in the next 60 minutes, which is actually equivalent to an hour, will be basically a pipeline triage system. How do we truly exit from the discount trap, especially when the pressure is huge? A repeatable closing motion. How do we move deals from thinking about it to signed and purposeful deals and, having payments in at the end of the day? What is that calm, close mindset?
Hello?
Can you hear me? Yes,
Good
Chika.
evening.
Can you hear me? Yeah.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Harriet.
All right. I think there was a feedback there. So how do we maintain a calm, closer mindset? And this is really, really tricky because most times towards the end of the month, I don't think any salesperson is actually calm. But what I mean by calm, closer mindset is the ability to be strategic, even in the midst of chaos, even in the midst of pressure. The ability to remain calm will actually help us think and be able to draw, an insights from our pipeline that are ready to close. So tonight's promise really will be real talk, practical insights, tactics that we can actually use on a live deal at any point in time. So we go. This is just like an icebreaker. Today is 26th and tomorrow is 27th. The number is real. Clock is ticking. Managers are looking at the dashboard. Leadership is wondering what is going on, and the clock is actually loud that you can literally hear it even when you are sleeping. And if you are not careful, you may actually be dreaming of your targets. We all know what this actually feels like. Those are called end of month pressure. And every good sales team members actually make use of three predictable, they actually make the same predictable mistake, and this actually costs real money. But before we go ahead, I'd like us to warm the room. I want us to also have a kind of engagement. So please, I would really enjoy the chat buzzing up. Let's, drop one word in the chat that actually sums up how our month end feels as at now. Luckily, this month is really a blessed one. We have Monday and Tuesday to still close up. So we still have about 2 or 4 days to close to actually close Q2 and close the month of June. So let's just drop one word. How do we feel? Are we confident? Are we surprised? Are we worried? So let's just go ahead. And then where are we right now? This is just a bit of discussion and discussion within ourselves. Where are we? Are we ahead of target? If you're ahead of targets, that is amazing. Well done. You also can drop that on the chat and also, scribble it in your notepad. B, are you on track? And is it very tight? It could still go either way. You could be on track and still be very tight. Are we behind? Are you feeling a little bit of pressure right now? The pressure will really be real right now. Or are you D? Let's not even ask. You are in survival mode and we've got you if you are in that mode. We are all, we've all been there at a particular point in time. So you are not alone. The room is judgment free. So feel free to use the chat box or feel free to also scribble that in your notepad. Now, what does the month end reality mean? What does it mean to every one of us? I want to believe that we all are salespeople, and even if you are not salespeople, whatever kind of job you find yourself doing, there's usually an expectation from us. And at the end of the day, if you are not meeting that expectation, you have a bit of pressure. What actually is the reality? A lot of times we have targets outstanding. There are so many delayed decisions. The key decision maker may not be on seat. You may have gone 1, 2, 3, 4 times and you are not meeting the key decision maker to sign that deal, and then clock is ticking. Or is it the management pressure and you end up having panic discounting just to ensure you're getting some sales to, to ensure that your dashboard is really looking. These are all month-end pressure. And actually, the very key thing about this is that month-end pressure usually expose our pipeline weakness. If your pipeline is not very strong, from prospecting to having your lead, to qualifying your lead, and to ensuring you close the deal at the end of the day, your month-end pressure is usually larger. But when your month-end pressure are streamlined, then you found a lot of leads, you've prospected enough, you've divided your leads, and you've qualified them, and then the amount of people that can actually help you meet, your numbers. However, why do deals still stall? A lot of times it could be as a result of insufficient opportunities. Fine, you are prospecting, but you've not still seen that particular prospect that could eventually qualify to be a lead. You may have done your targeting and segmentation, your A prospect, B prospect, C prospect, and even those that you're calling your A prospects may not have those sufficient numbers, may not have the sufficient need that will actually move and help you push in your value proposition to them. Those are insufficient opportunities. It could also be as a result of weak follow-up. Then decision maker may not be on seats. Those are real life issues. Then a lot of times, lack of urgency. Lack of urgency can go in both ways. On part of the decision maker, when they don't really see how your products you actually add value to them. That is when there's an urgency. You start seeing your decision maker raising objection. Something like, oh, how does it work? Do I need this right now? What does it do? That is because they've not been able to tie the value of what you're selling to them to their problem. And that is where the lack of urgency comes in. And that's, at the end of the day, actually stall your deal, and then the month is rolling, and then we have a lot of pressure. However, as high performance, what are we supposed to do? When I heard this topic, closing at the end of the month and pipeline pressure, I smiled, because as a high performer, we are not even supposed to wait till the end of the month before we start closing. When we wait till the end of the month or till the end of the quarter, a high performer would have envisaged where they would be closing at. High performers are supposed to start closing from day one. And how do you start closing for day one? You qualify your opportunities early. You identify the key decision makers quickly. Who are the key decision makers? Do you need, if you are in a pharma setting or a hospital setting or a healthcare settings, or maybe an access to care, who are the key decision makers? Are you supposed to see the CMD? Are you supposed to see the head of business? Are you supposed to see the procurement manager? Who are those people that actually matters in moving that deal forward? We are supposed to identify them. Who are the gatekeepers? As much as you identify your key decision maker, you should also identify the gatekeepers, the people that actually work closely to our key decision maker are also very important. Then how much do we create? High performance are to create urgency throughout the month. You don't wait till third week or fourth week, or maybe towards the end of second week, because our customers also know and they are aware that towards the end of the month, everyone is coming to them, and then they lag, they slow down. So we create urgency. High performers actually supposed to start creating their urgency, tying the value of their products and the urgency with the opportunity to the customer. High performers are also supposed to conduct weekly pipeline reviews, so that we don't wait till the third week of the month and we are surprised. Oh, we are just at 30%. What are we, my goodness, where have we been? What are we going to do? We are supposed to conduct a weekly pipeline review. I even conduct a daily pipeline review. I do a daily tracking. What have we sold today? What have we collected in terms of receivable? Where are our collections? If we continue at this trajectory, where do we think this may land us? Because data don't lie. When you follow the trend, then we'll be able to, hit on and ensure that we create the right form of urgency. So if maybe daily tracking may, if daily tracking may be a bit enormous, because maybe sometimes you come late, you don't come in on time, you have a lot of family engagement and all. By twice a week could also suffice and help us to stop being surprised. How do we remove blockers before the end of the month? High performance actually remove blockers. What are the blockers? Is there a particular payment that has to go in before this deal can be sealed? Is there a particular person that have to give a final signature or a final approval before this deal can be sealed? What are those blockers? The earlier we identify, remember, a blocker not identified can never be removed. The earlier we identify, the better for us before month's end. And how do we build multiple closing opportunities? So you have maybe like 20 prospects. We are not supposed to keep revolving around those 20. At a time, you wear out those particular opportunities. The right thing is for us to keep prospecting, so we have multiple opportunities in different parts of the month, and then we are not surprised. Those are what high performers actually do that can help them move, help them excel at closing their months very well. And when this is done, the pressure is still there. What do pressure actually do to a deal? What pressure actually does to a deal? It's makes, pressure is like fear. You are worried. You literally are not thinking straight. You are not strategic in your thinking. You are panic. You just take, for instance, when we find out that, fuel will be very expensive, they're about to increase the cost of fuel. You see everybody going to the fuel station to queue. And then what happens? They increase the amounts, and then we start buying at a very high price compared to what we were buying. That is what pressure has done from the part of the buyers to the sellers. And what pressure does to a deal is it helps our sellers to relax and ensure that, since there's pressure, these guys would have a discount. It gets us to discount early, and at the end of the day, we erode our margin. For a product that you're supposed to have a margin of about 15%, you bring down your margin to about 10 or 11%. What happens to your operating costs? What happens to your fixed costs at the end of the day? Then when the product gets to the part of the seller, they have, maybe for instance, you give them a credit limit and they are not paying at that particular time, then the margin gets completely eroded, and then we've already discounted. So pressure causes us to discount too early. You buy speed with your margin that will never come back. It helps us chase ghosts, which is not nice. Hours pours into deals, time is stalling, and then the month gets, keep going. It bruises trust. As soon as buyers smell desperation, they quietly use it against us as sales guys. They say, don't worry, they will soon come back. Month is ending, don't worry. They will soon come back, they will reduce it. Allow them go, they will come back. It bruises trust. You speak out of desperation, you speak out of pressure. You hear some salespeople say, I want to miss my target. They start communicating that to a buyer. That does something to the psychology of the buyer. They feel you're at their mercy. They don't totally see the value of what you are bringing to them. You burn out. Panic is not a strategy. It easily makes you burn out, and then you'll not be able to think strategically. And that also takes on to the next month and then to the end of the quarter, which is not good for business and for total outputs. Pressure is not information, and pressure is information, and it's not a reason to panic. These are two examples. Panic says, let's discount it. We have to close the month. Time is ticking and we've not sold. We are at 35%. It's not as if there is no positive pressure. The positive pressure is supposed to start from the beginning of the month, where you would have identified your prospects and qualified your lead that will actually give you, the business. But panic says discount it so that we get more sales. However, clarity says qualify it from those opportunities we have gotten as a sales team member, as a sales manager, as a customer care representative, as a head of customer service. Are you qualifying the leads you are getting? Somebody calls because we want to close the month. You get a deal, you get a prospect, you've not qualified enough, you've not done your normal KYC, you don't know your customer. Just because you want to close, you get in all the documents, you don't even check the document through, you don't qualify their payment pattern, and then you get your products in, we run into trouble at the end of the day. Panic say email everyone. You start sending a bulk email to everyone, but Clarity say call the decider. Everyone does not really need to read the email, but Clarity actually helps you reach out to the key decision maker that owns the deal, that helps you to close better. Hope it closes. That is what Panic says, but Clarity says make it close. So we have same pressure, two completely different responses from people at the end of the day. So month end isn't our enemy. It's actually a spotlight, and we should not wait till month end before we do the needful. This is a very important framework I've designed on how to actually close, and I term it PACE. PACE may mean a lot of things to different people, but here I'm using the abbreviation PACE. We first prioritize. How do we prioritize? Then we anchor, we co-create. That we work with the customer, we work with the client, we work with our buyers, and we execute. Sorry, I want to be sure that we are all going. Are we all following, please? Please let me know if we have any comments. Just drop it on the chat, then we'll take it as we all go. Hello, I just need, I'd like to hear maybe a feedback, so I'm sure that we are all following, because I can't see my screen.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can see you.
Okay, you can hear me, right? I should go ahead, right?
Yes, you can.
Okay, awesome. So this is a framework, I call it PACE. Prioritize, anchor, co-create with the buyer, and then executes. But before we do that, these are our checklists. What are the checklists we have planned in closing the months? What is the need? The need here is very crucial, because that is where everything stems from. If somebody does not have a need for your product or for your services, then they would not key into it. And whose job is it to find the need? The job of the sales team member. We are to look for that need. We are to probe and find out that need, then propose our value. What is the budget? These are the closing checklists. Do the decision maker, do they even have what it takes to be able to, pay for the value we are bringing? We know their budgets and we're able to work around it. Who are the key decision maker? What is the proposal? Have we drafted a proposal? Have we gone to, taking it all out for approval? What relevant key decision maker do this proposal have to go through before we are able to seal the deal? What are the possible objections? So before we go into those discussions, we should also have an idea of the possible objections they would raise and find out a way to have been able to answer them, so that we don't keep stalling. I don't understand what does this product do? You explain. Oh, okay, what are the side effects? You don't know. Oh, for instance, we have an after sales support. How long does it take? If we are not able to find an answer to their objections before that engagement, it stalls our closing, because they will not listen. They'll tell you, oh, go and find it and come back. And by the time you are coming back, it may not be the same person that will be on the seat. And then we start all over again. Those are time, resources being wasted. So prior to those engagements, have a number of objections and have an idea and an answer to those objections. Then timeline, all should be confirmed before we go in. Then we prioritize. Not every deal, it will be hopeful for us to know that not every deal deserves your last week. There's no point. You don't even bother trying that month, because we've not, clicked yes on all of this. So not every deal deserve. Look for the ones that deserve and close. And then that brings us to pipeline prioritization model. How do we know those deals that we are supposed to close? Here I'm using two framework. We are using green, amber, red. So when you list them out, you categorize them under each of these. And then the best place to focus our mindsets on and our closing plan on is to focus 80% of our efforts on the green and amber deals. These are very close for us to, very, very easy for us to close than those on red. Maybe those are still trying to make their decision and all of that. So the pipeline or the client that we have under the green and amber are those ones we should actually chase after and close. How do we spot them? How do we spot these categories? We assess every opportunity. We assess their need, their budget, the urgency, and then next step commitment. I think I mentioned that. So this is an example of a deal scoring framework. So I noted 2 points, 1 point, and 0 points, and then we would have that. We can have that as, have it in your notepad. What are those deals and how once you score 8 to 10 or 80% is a deal that is ready to close. Once the deal scores 5 to 7 or 60% is on an amber deal, and then we can easily find out the blockers and chase for us to close. But once it's in between 0 to 4, 4.5, then there is no point. What we need to do is to find out the objections and move ahead to see how we could close in the following months. So this is just an example, and we can also work on this depending on what area we cover or what industry we actually work with or sector. So I'm taking, for instance, a hospital supply contracts. The CMD has the need for maybe, for instance, an MRI machine. You scored 2 on that. You've done your findings. You've had discussions. They are interested. They also have the budgets. Maybe, for instance, Lagos State government has just awarded them, that budget, and the money is available. And then the budget is there. You score them 2. The decision maker, the CMD is available. The CMAC is available. The procurement manager is available. The board are ready to buy. That is 1, for instance. And let's say maybe out of the key decision maker, the CMD traveled, and it's okay, you can follow up with the CMAC and the procurement manager. Once they sign, I'm fine. That is 1. The urgency for them to get that MRI machine, because they just opened up, they are planning to commission the lab in that hospital, is very crucial. They're going to open in the next 2 weeks and they need that machine, and the urgency is there. You score it 2. What's the next step? A total of 9. That's to tell you that this is a green deal. What do? We chase and we close. We have the need, you have the budget, the decision is there, the urgency. The next step is to chase, to ensure you follow up, and then we close the deal. And then payment is made, and then the supply is made, the after sales support and every other thing. So this is how you can have this as a framework and impute what actually works for you. You score it. Once you see that, oh, it's 7, it's 8, then you chase, and then you tick off, and then you close. But once you see it's on red, is in between 3, maybe, for instance, the need is not there, they need to buy an MRI machine, but they have about 4 already that has been supplied by maybe another organization or was donated. Of course, they don't need yours. The need is not there. What else do they need that you have in your portfolio is what you should be looking for. The budget is not complete. They've promised the budget, but it has not been signed. Then you cannot sell, because sales without payment is not even a sale at all. The decision maker is not available. Then that is not an urgent, that is not a green deal. That is actually a red deal. So once we tick all of this, you chase it when it's a green deal. You chase and then you close. So this can apply to whatever sector, whatever business, even in our personal, in our day-to-day activities. This can actually, it helps us to prioritize what we should actually work with and work on. Also, we can also use the 3R system. If you don't want to use the green deal, amber, and red, you could use the 3R. Is the deal real? Is it ready? Is it reachable? Once you feel 2 yeses here, you nurture it. Once it's just 1 year, then you don't chase it. You find out what could be a blocker and follow up in the following month. So that can be like a pre-call or a pre-discussion for your next month for you to close. So this is just also like a bit of workshop. You open your CRM, open your customer management tool. You list out 5 deals that are actually open. Are they real? Are they ready to close? What is the reach? Then you sum. Once you sum, that clarifies whether you are supposed to pursue and overtake, or you relax, you go back to your drawing board, find out what may be stalling it, and then you launch again. The second part will be anchor. Anchor is just how excellent is your nav. Your price isn't almost always the problem. Don't be fast to drop your price, especially when you are getting close to the end of the month. It's a trap, because it trains your buyer to say, oh, so that means the price was never real. Oh, don't worry, they will surely bring down the price. So let's not always find ourselves in that trap. Every month end, discount teaches them to wait till like 28 or 29, knowing fully well that you will come and drop the price. Then it actually shrinks our deal permanently. It erodes margin and it signals doubts. You start hearing them saying, oh, if you can drop your price like this, are you sure this product is of value? They start doubting the value of your product because they notice every end of the month, your price must be reduced. So maintain the value of your product and help them to see the urgency around what they are losing. Then we trade, never just give. The rule is nothing leaves the table for free. We are businessmen. And so we are discussing business. It's a business negotiation. It's a business discussion. It's a win-win. They are not doing us a favor. Neither are we doing them a favor. We are selling a valuable product. We are selling a service that is of value that will also improve their business at the end of the day. So it's a win-win relationship. Once salespeople notice that selling is a win-win for both the buyer and then the seller, then we'll be able to know that nothing actually leaves the table for free. Every give gets a get. So how do we speak? We should speak in business language. Never allow pressure make us come to the point of, literally begging or pleading and erode our value at the end of the day. Somebody that has a value and carries their product with value, we eventually get the deal before us. So words like, oh, if you can sign by Friday, then I can conclude the onboarding. Let there be a give and get. Let them know that they have to give him something for you to also give him something. Words like, if we could move to a 12-month commitment, then I think I have a room to revisit the rates. Oh, of course, with the input of my line manager or the input of the board. If you can introduce me to maybe the procurement manager to follow up on this deal, then I can fast track approval and after sales support from my end. So those are words that we should. So you should trade and never just give. Nothing leaves the table for free. Remember, we are business people at the end of the day. So this is just a role play. I'll skip this. We could maybe look at it much later and, have this scenario play around in our notebook and work on it and see how it really goes. You type the response in the chat. The buyers drop the classic month and the clock is ticking and you want to fill it. So I'll just go over and talk about co-create. Here is how do we have this mutual discussion with our buyers. We should try to stop closing at buyers. Never close at buyers, close with them. Like I said in the previous slide, is a win-win. Close with them. We should co-create the value together. That is when we become resourceful to them and not just a seller. We should be resourceful to them. And how do we do this? We build a mutual close plan. Confirm the why. Why do they need these products? That gives us the value. Name the decider, list what is left. What is left is also like the blockers. Then set a date together. Once there's a shared plan into a project, with a specified timeline, they are in the same game with us. Sometimes you notice that they will be the one calling you and say, oh, you've not brought it. Oh, what is left? How do we close? How do I get this product? How do I start enjoying this service? Because they've already seen the value. And this is what we should bring to the table when we are having, those discussions. Then at the end of the day, read the buyer. How do you co-create? Read the buyer, not just the clock. So apart from the clock ticking, they know it's month end. So don't even pretend that they don't. They actually know, but help them to see the value and help them, to see the reason and the urgency. Let them know that they have a cost waiting as well. There is a cost. Let's say, for instance, a hospital is opening. You have a new hospital opening. The CMD is also a prescriber in a public hospital, and he has a pharmacy where you actually stock his shelves and ensure that he does not run out of stock. And for a reason, he's stalling in increasing the amount of products, and he does not have some product and all. How do you make him know that that delay can actually cost him his business? You let him know that, oh, I found out in the inventory that you don't have a bit of stock. There's some stock that's out, you've run out of them, and some are not even available. If you don't stock out now, the other hospital on the other side also have a bit of traffic. And then on our own parts, we don't have enough of this stock. We'll have it running out in the next 2 weeks. That creates an urgency, letting them know that delay can cost them money. Nobody wants to have a reason to lose money. So once they know that there's something for them to lose and their stall can cause it, they are also having that urgency to close along with you. What happens if you don't? These are questions that we can use in, having discussion. These are powerful phrases, silent, urgent phrases. Help them calculate. What happens if you don't? Let them know that, oh, what happens if, this revenue, what will happen to this revenue if you lose it? The customers you will lose, the time they will waste, and opportunities and competitors that will take, that this stall will take or this delay will take. What's the cost of delaying this decision? So these are phrases you could, frame up and use it in discussion and negotiation, discussion with your clients. Then finally, after all said and done, we execute. Ask for the business. A lot of time we go through, I say a lot of salespeople, you go through from your pre-call planning, you've done your call, you are in the room, you're asked. A lot of time, by the time when it's time for us to ask for the business, something goes wrong. A deal you don't ask for is a deal you will never get. You'll be surprised that you might have done all the work and then somebody just comes in and asks for the deal and the person gets it. That's because we stall in asking for the deal. Execute, execute, execute. Ask and stop talking. Make a direct ask. Be bold and confident that you are also bringing value to them. Make a direct ask. It won't take anything from us. Are you ready to move forward today? What could be the reason why you would not want to, sign up this service now? Are there any blockers? Is there anything you want me to help you with? Is there anything you don't understand? After asking, go silent. Go silent and wait for response. The next person to speak is the person that catches the deal. So if the customer is the next person, oh, okay, so, how much is it? You've gotten the deal. Then you start from there. Let the question and your ask land before immediately moving. When you keep talking and talking and talking, the customer is like, oh, they sense fear. They sense a bit of time unsure. They become unsure. They become weary. Once you ask, you go silent and let them speak. Also watch their body language, because 80% of the time you have their body language speaking, and then you could decipher if there is a blocker or if they are not sure. Offer a clear path. We can start standard today. Oh, we can start premium today. Oh, we can start, the regular package today. Whichever one fits you. Which one are you ready to go on with? Then you confirm the next step at the end of the day. So which of these is our tell? I'd like us to real talk, and let's be honest. This is not a judgmental area, it's just for us to learn. In the chat box, which of this is our tell, is actually our tell, especially when the pressure is enormous? Is it just the checking in email? You send like 100 email to a particular client, they get one out. It adds zero value. Let's stop it. The just checking in email, once you've sent once, twice, 3 times, the fifth or sixth time, the customer may actually mute you, and then your mail will not be able to go through. So those just checking in email, oh, I just want to find out, once it's getting, once it's getting too frequent, it loses its value. So let's tone that on that. Let's ensure that we don't do that. Which of these are we doing right now? I think we should tone that on that if it's something that we've been doing. Let's not lead with discounts. Are we leading with discount just because, oh, the month is about to close? It erodes our margin, and it's at the end of the day, erodes our value. If we are going to reduce or give a discount, let it be for a value and let them see the value behind it. Let that be communicated to the customer, and then we co-create instead of leading with discount just because the month is actually coming to an end. Over following up can be desperate. It reeks of desperation. 5 touches in 2 days, 6 touches in 2 days. You are reaching out to the clients on WhatsApp, on email, you are checking them in their office. It can be very frustrating, and it ends up making your customers see us as if, making the customer see the salesperson as, oh, then there was never a reason for starting this business discussion. And then the customers start taking turns in dodging at the end of the day. Dodging the real ask, lots of cycling back. A lot of time we don't ask for the business. Ask for the business, and let's not go around the cycle. So let's pick the beauty one and, name yours in the chat, and let's ensure that we minimize and we are a bit moderate and lead with value at the end of the day. So when the clock is loud, how do we run the list? Focus on your 2 yeses, focus on your green deals, chase your amber deals to ensure they become green and, hit it. Why the red, work on them, ensure we follow up on what the obstacles may be, and ensure that we make them to become amber and eventually become green. Remove 1 real blocker per day. So before the end of the month, remove 1 real blocker per day. If, for instance, one of the blocker is, oh, you need to see 3 decision maker. Let's not wait till the 3rd week before saying 1. At least 1 or 2 should have been seen in the first 2 weeks, so that we don't become a major issue and stops us from closing that deal. So every day, have a list of blockers. Oh, these are the green deals. What are the possible blocker? What are the possible obstacle? You list them down. Oh, today, Monday, these are the blockers I want to chase. For every day you come back from work, you tick off the blocker. Blocker number 1 off, onto the next. Blocker number 2 for qualified lead 2, onto the next. At the end of the week, you notice that you've taken out about 4 or 5 blocker, and then if there's one persistent one, you know
Sorry, you're breaking. You're breaking.
what to do to be able to
Harriet, you're
close
breaking.
that.
Okay,
Make
better
the
now.
direct ask every every single.
Sorry, I can't hear Harriet. She's breaking up. Is it the same
Time.
with other people?
Let's ensure we call and not
Yeah, she's
email
breaking up.
every time.
I don't know.
Call and, at times also have a physical visit. Also, begin the trade with every price. How is it now? Is it better?
Yes, it's much better now. I think I can hear you.
Okay. Oh, I apologize. Thank you for bringing that to me. So can I go on?
Yes, please go ahead.
All right, awesome. So know when to walk away and then protect your next month. So when to walk away will be the red deals, or the deals that you did not get enough yeses. So that is when to walk away. And when you're walking away, don't just walk away without knowing the reason why you've walked away. So find out the reason why that deal was not successful, so that next month you are not starting all over again. You've sorted that out, and then it becomes a green deal, maybe the first week or second week. And by then you are already managing pipeline pressure that may come at you. So this is like a 5-day month-end action plan. You review pipeline, engage decision, resolve objections, and then you secure commitments. Not every deal closes this month, and that is okay. Just like I say, walk away power is actually closing power. Let it breathe, and then you get your trust you can bank on. A stronger deal next month will actually be better than wasting our time on a deal that was never going to close. A close is actually a transfer of certainty. You can't pour panic into a buyer and expect calm to come out. So when the buyer smells desperation, it makes them stall. So what we should communicate is value and the reason and what they lose for not keying into that deal. That is what we should actually, bring up. So confidence isn't loud. If the rep has done the work, they know the value and they are not afraid to hear a no. So this will be our commitment for the month. I think it's something we could write down. What are those 3 or 5 or 10 deals, depending on where we are, that we are focusing on? What is one pace, the priority, the anchor, co-create, and execution move we'll run on each? And what is one thing we are going to stop doing? Are we going to stop, starting giving a lot of discounts, eroding our margin, overbugging the customer without no, clear value and clear terms? What is that thing that we are going to run? So these are key takeaways. Strong pipeline pressure. Strong pipelines actually reduce pressure. Prioritize high probability deals. Create an urgency through value. And then let's learn to follow up relentlessly. Let's always remember to prioritize, work the deals that are actually real. The truth is that a deal that would not close, you would know. So there's no need to chase them. Hold your price, trade with intention, and don't give. Don't just give away. Co-create. Let's ensure we co-create, build the parts, to signing the approval and, all of that together, and then execute. Ask for the business. That is very paramount. It's very important. After doing all of this, ask for the business, and let's not go round the circle. While doing this, let's stay calm and also follow through. So if we forget everything else, let's know that pressure is information. It helps us set clearer, not harder. So the calm closer wins the month and then keeps the customer at the end of the day. So this is a discussion question. How many deals in our pipeline are actually genuinely green? How many are green because we are hoping they will close? Or how many are green because we've done all that we need to do in ticking the box? How many are amber and how many are red? So that is something I will leave us, to think through, something we will work on, maybe in our workbook, and see how we can still, because we still have 4 days, and then a lot can still go on within those 4 days. So what is the toughest month deal you are sitting on right now? Let's try and drop it in the chats. What are those questions? What are those feedback? What are those ideas? And thank you. Now let's go and close with value. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Harriet. Thank you very much. I believe that was a wonderful session. Thank you so much. I believe whatsoever your category might be, you must have learned a thing or two. If you have anyone who wants to come off mute to share anything that stood out to them, maybe just want to take away something you want to share, you can also put it in the chat, anything at all that stood out to you. Whilst we are doing that, if you have questions, if you have contribution, let us know as well. Questions, leave in the chat or raise your hand. Okay, thank you very much, Jude. All right, let's have Jude.
All right. Yeah. So can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you clearly.
Yes, I can
All
hear
right.
you, Jude.
So Harriet, you didn't disappoint. I didn't expect any less than this. It was super stuff. Great delivery. A lot of takeaways for me. A whole lot. You know, key takeaway for me is that don't go back. There's this thing about you go for a deal, you don't get it, and then you're looking for who to blame. So Harriet is saying, I think you said we must learn why it failed. So it guides the next opportunity and how we approach it, right? So
Yes.
yeah, that's the key takeaway for me. So, and then there's also something I've come to experience. Also, my background was technical and engineering and technical stuff. But I developed into a salesperson, and then I started running brands, and so I sell technology. And one of the things that I've come to understand is that we are all inherently selfish, right? So, Harriet was saying something about the fact that you are not doing him a favor and he's not doing you a favor. So the
Of
truth
course.
of the matter is that we are inherently selfish, and that man you are going to sell that product to has a problem. So as a salesperson, you must do the work to learn what his problem is and be ready to tell him how your product will solve the problem for him. So if you have that at the back of your mind, you won't have problems with your client. And then there's this thing that happens to me. I have people walking to my office almost every day. People coming to ask for one favor or the other. I want money. I haven't paid my school fees. I haven't paid my house rent. I haven't eaten. And it's common. And sometimes I don't even have time. But a student walked into my office once and told me that he knows that he knows how I can reach. I live in Port Harcourt, and he said he knows how I can reach half the population of Port Harcourt in 1 month, and that they will buy my product and I will increase sales. What do you think I did? I told him, come in, let's sit down and talk. So we must sell benefits. So when we take our products and we're going to those clients, proposed clients, we need to ask ourselves, we need to have some prior information about the client and his challenges, and then be ready to sell the benefit of our product solving their problems. Just once you have that, I think that's the first thing that gets you into the room. That's for me.
Yeah.
Just a simple, yeah. Thank you.
True. Thank you, Jude. Thank
Thank you
you.
very much for sharing, Jude. Thank you. All right, do you have anyone? Jude, you're raising your hand again.
Sorry, let me break it down. Yeah, sorry.
Thank you. Thank you, Jude. That was spot on.
Thank you very much for sharing, Jude. All right, so we have Mbappe. All right, please go ahead, Mbappe.
Hi, Harriet. Thank you so much for sharing. My question is regarding whereby you have how will I call it, an issue regarding buying committees. So you scoped out your ideal customers, you scope out your champion, you scoped out the decision makers or economic buyers. You're selling, but you're now having a case where the buying committee are like, we're okay with our solution. And you clearly know that the solution does not work, right? You've broken down what your solution does, you've sold, you've given, and this is here from what they call it. You've broken it from an infrastructure side of things, right?
Okay.
It means that, so let me put it in context, like, based on what you sell. Let's say you, because you sell like, say, Panadol, but then maybe you're selling it to pharmaceuticals or pharmacies, but I'm selling like, say, the metafenin, or that would be mixed into that Panadol, right?
Panadol.
And that's what you sell. And then when you go to a kind of company, let me just assume, and they're like, oh, I'm used to selling the Panadol, but the methionine extract will add 10 times more value to that Panadol.
Mm.
But they are stuck in their ways. Like, they keep pushing back to say, oh, we're okay, we're doing and that. And you just know that, of course, you're trying to sell solution. You know what they've said. They've come back to say, oh, we want to make sure that our Panadol is the best Panadol competitively in the market. And your solution is supposed to help them actually
Well,
achieve that. So
that's
it's been like, my question would be, how do you, like, you've communicated this value, but it's just a case of, how to put it, how
they
do
don't.
you reframe this for them to really really get that they need your solution? I guess that would be my question to you.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you very much. In fact, it's something everyone actually goes through, like it's common. I think the first thing we should do, or salespeople could do, is to also have, probe further, ask them sincerely and transparently what exactly is stopping them from seeing the value. Even though, so you may feel, oh, you've communicated the value, they know the value, they know it's good and all of that. But there may be just one thing that we've not hit. That there's just maybe one point, and it may not even be maybe the products. For instance, we have to find, everybody has something that ticks them on, that gets them to stand up. So we have to look for that particular reason why they may key into that deal. Do you understand? So on your own part, you know that, oh yes, of course, they need these products. They have, it has the value, it's going to, solve a lot of issues. That is a value that that is a value that we know that our products carry. But what is the value to the customer? It may not be the product that is of value. For instance, it may be, oh, okay, how much are you giving me? Or if I buy 100, it may be a bit of margin. Since we don't want to start with discounts. It may be patient population, what particular set of patients. So you may need to also drill down, ask questions, because if you don't ask questions, you won't find out. And then we may just be, we may just go on assuming that, oh, this is supposed to work, or you've heard, oh, we know that it's supposed to work. You may really need to sit down with the key decision makers and find out what exactly the challenges are. Why don't they still agree with the value you are bringing? And just let them speak. And when they speak, you listen closely, you will get a reason. And then from that reason, you can drill down on that to sell. So I think that's the first thing, because if you don't get that, there's nothing you can do. So you still need that value at the end of the day. And there must be something. If you look deep, there is something. It may not be the value you are bringing. It may be as little as patient outcome. It may be as little as after sales support. It may be as little as experience. Maybe they've had an experience with someone that was not even your company and they didn't really like it. And it's not just coming out. So there has to be something. It takes you to, listen and attentively and let them know that you are in that business. You want them to win. Once they smell that you have their back, then you will get that value. Once you get it, please don't miss it, because you may never get it again. So it is it. Thank you. And it's open to the floor. Anybody can also share. Temitope, I don't know if that's answered your question.
Amazing.
It
Thank you very
it
much,
does
Harriet.
partially. But yeah, yeah. Thank you.
Harriet, sorry, Timothy, are you satisfied with the response?
Temitope said partially, means I'm sure he has done that. Then I think if you need to, we apart from that, you may need to also look for somebody said they may just not have money. You may need to look for key stakeholders above that person and sell your value to them. So you may need to maybe go ahead, key stakeholders, also have maybe like a roundtable discussion. So you set up a panel discussion. You this time around, you may bring up your maybe your line manager or a senior person that they respect, a person of influence that they respect from your organization, and set up a panel discussion with
Let,
that
let me
team.
ask you a trick. Let me ask you a
Yes,
trick
please.
question.
Yes, please, Temitope.
Uh, if you are the highest person in that place, and secondly, the person that you need to talk to is probably like the chairman of the board, really, right? The question would be, do you reach out to that person, or because I'm looking at a case where it's a public company, you've spoken to the decision makers, right? You've talked to them. Problem is that they themselves are not like technical, so it's a case of
They
what you
don't
are bringing to
understand.
the board is that they've given a solution provider, right? But they
Mm,
don't even know the benchmark. So to put it in context, like I
mm,
said, if you have this new drug that you're bringing, right, and
mhm.
the people that are the buyers that basically right scoped as the economic buyers, the issue, however, is that they didn't do any benchmark. Like they just said, okay, we'll buy this Panadol, but they didn't say that you should have a ratio of 2%
Find
quinone
out
or
what they are.
chlorine, right? They just said as long as
Find
Panadol,
out what they are. Find out what they are losing. Find
yeah.
out what they are losing in terms of profits. Let's find out what they are losing in terms of profits and communicate that with them. Do you
Okay.
understand?
Hmm.
Yes. So find out what they are losing, but you have to do a very good research in terms of market research analysis, maybe the value in terms of price this time around and in terms of profits, and communicate that to them. So let them say, oh, you do a head-to-head analysis. So let them know what they are losing if you are not coming to you. List them, and then the outcome. Then you sell that to them. And then you can run a pilot trial. For such kind of people, you may need to run a pilot phase or a trial, a trial business or a trial negotiation. Let them see the benefits, see how it also brings profits to them, and then you key it from there. So that's how it works. So
All
it's
right, thank you
open,
very much. I
no,
appreciate it. Yeah.
it's open to anyone. Jude, what do you have? Do you have anything to add? I see some people on the call. Please, you
No,
can
I
also speak.
you're right. I think you're right. It's all about selling benefits actually. Like what I do sometimes is I sell long-term benefits. And so when I sell long-term benefits, I'm telling them cost savings in the long run.
Exactly.
And sometimes you need to help them, guide them towards the future. So you
Mm,
tell them, look, where the trend is going. In a few, and tell them the benefit of engine, or rather, hanging on, you're taking them to the future,
I'm
and
wasting time.
yeah, making sure they don't lose out
Don't lose.
in the yeah. So it's about selling benefits, and if you do your groundwork properly, yeah,
Oh,
and you sell benefits, they will buy. People will buy. It's just common stuff.
and if it's a
Yeah.
public sector,
They are
let's
notorious.
also
They are
be.
notorious for not
If
buying.
it's a public sector,
They are
is a
notorious for
different,
not buying.
is
So
it?
I
Yeah.
mean,
So it's
the
a different
intelligence
ball.
prior to speaking to them is like
Yes.
you have, and I give
But
you context. You have sales guys from InterSwitch who have been
Yes.
trying to break into this particular company, right? And like the chief of commercial has sat down, done intelligence, talked
Every,
about the people. So it's a behavior, because I face that same behavior selling to them. Like, there is a case where they just like internally, from all the scoping, and this is multiple people, multiple industry, multiple. So this is a fintech people selling to that company. There's another company who was in health selling to that company. So you have different sales, like head of sales and commerce VPs that
Maybe
you've
they have.
spoken with, and
Mhm.
there's always that thing they tell you of. It's just very difficult to sell to them. So I guess it's a issue with their buying committee and how they make decisions. I'll chalk it up to that, because I mean, I use their own words for them. This is what you personally said about this solution, and
Why are you
so yeah,
so
why are you just pulling back? And yeah, so I think it's still more, like you said, we still need more intelligence.
Yeah.
Maybe it's
Find
going
out.
over their head, who knows? But till then, yeah.
And you can
Something
still
else.
put it, you can still put it to them, like, what exactly do you want?
Yes,
Ask
but
them questions.
something else.
Yeah.
I see us not doing proactively is that we don't close the year with most of our clients. You need to close the year with them and know what they want to do the next year. So what it
Hmm.
does is, and then you need to have an inside person. You need to have someone who's giving you information,
Who is
who's
giving,
telling you
who's
what
telling you what's up?
what to spend money on. You need to know what they want to spend money. You don't waste your time,
You
because
need to know
if
where their budget is going.
budget is going, you need to know that. See, and then I'll tell you one of the things that I've seen. We've done sales to a company that they decided they wanted to go global, and they wanted to train their executives. They wanted them to have the prerequisite certification to
Hmm.
be like, to have the global, how do you call them? They wanted their image, to be global. And so they wanted their executives to have certain certifications from global institutions. And let me tell you, one of the ways we got them was, we linked them up with people who had who had products, who had certifications that were linked to some IV, some of the big tech tech schools outside our climate, outside Nigeria. And I'm telling you, we did so much deals. They just couldn't find anything wrong with what we're doing, because we sold benefits to their own interests. It's just about finding where people want to go and helping them get there. And then they become your friends, and then they are open to your suggestions. The challenge often is we are not selling benefits to their inner. See, we just sell benefits, guys. Yeah.
Yeah. Have gatekeepers as well. I'll tell you what's going on the inside. Very important, honestly. Very important. All
I
right.
say thank you very much, everyone, for your comments and your contribution. Do we have anyone else who has a question? Do we still have questions for Harriet? Anyone? If you want to come off mute, you can just leave it in the chat. Anyone? Chizoba, I don't know. Do you have a question directly, or you are just giving comments?
No, I think she was it was a comment towards Temitope's question. Yes.
Sorry, please, can we have your slides? I think those slides are good. I'd love to have them. Yeah.
Oh, sure. I'll communicate with Repstar.
So, without further ado, if there will be no questions, I don't know, perhaps, is everyone on this call a member of Red Star community? If you're a member, you can just give a thumbs up. If you're not, please just raise your hand. We would like to welcome you and celebrate you, and also invite you to be a part of the community. I'm sure this session has been amazing for you, and you want to be a part of what is really going on the inside. A safe space where everyone can share, especially challenges that are facing people every day. So if you're not a member of this community, to be nice to extend the hand of fellowship to you to join in. I don't know. So it means that everyone on this call is a member of the community.
I think some people dropped off at a time. We had about 27 or 28. So some people dropped off.
It's fine. Thank you all for joining. It was a session. And it's amazing to see lovely Harriet with us. It was a very impactful session, even for me.
Thank you so much.
And thank you for giving your contributions as well, Jude. And everyone, thank you for waiting till this time. I believe that this was not a wasted time for you. And as far as the slides, I will speak with Harriet and then we'll communicate it to as everyone has interested in getting it to. That will not be a challenge.
All right. Thank you so much. Thanks, Jude. Thanks, Temitope.
Very wonderful session. So I wish you a very wonderful end of the week and weekend. And most importantly, I want you to keep those deals going. Don't close yet. It's still 4 days to the end of the month. And perhaps maybe one of these tactics would work for you and you can eventually use it soon. I wish you all the very best and enjoy the rest of the day.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Bye, everyone. Thank you for the opportunity. And please, let's close powerfully. Bye.
Bye, everyone. Bye.